What's up, YouTube? Freaks and Geeks, aka NoahC, back at it again today for another video. And today I wanted to discuss on, is the Warlord really low tier now? And I've come to a point in my time in playing For Honor that I realized maybe before these nerfs and stuff like that, Warlord was always just gonna be good, just hands down. He started off with a really big health pool. On top of the health pool, he had really good things that, you know, a lot of the other classes have for them, like fast lights, hard damaging heavies, you know, a parry punish. On top of that, he had a really good fast zone attack, hyper armor, and he was just always all around just a good character to run with. And with my 90+ you know, days on For Honor, I was trying to see exactly why has he always been so good. I mean, more or less now I don't have a problem with Warlord because of what they've done to him. Prior, Warlord Season 1 was definitely the hardest Warlord to probably deal with. I don't know anything about Warlord Beta because I wasn't playing the beta. But more or less, there's always been some type of thing between me and this class. Even when I first picked him up Season 1, or rather Season 2 for the Hero Series tournament, just to kind of understand how he plays, he was just very he had a lot of punishes, or a lot of things about him that made him unpunishable. I'm pretty sure a lot of you saw the Orochi versus Warlord matchup in the Hero Series tournament, and when that was going on, that more or less, you know, it kind of showed everybody that Warlord, with being able to take guard breaks and full guard, made him almost unstoppable. It was more or less a better hidden stance, easier to go into, easier to come out of, and there was really no way to punish it. He had so many options out of it. He was just always good. And so now, since he doesn't have all those things that basically made him top character, now I want to really know from you guys, do you guys still consider him low tier, or is he more or less just in a really good place? Do you still think he can fight a certain assassins better than other classes can? Because I personally think, because of his health pool and because of the options he has just from neutral, he's able to actually deal with a lot more classes than a lot of other people actually can. And so I think now, more or less, as we go into these next coming days of For Honor, this is what we want. Like, you know what I'm saying? We want Warlord to be able to come back and still deal with these things, but at the same time, you know, we want the new characters to be strong, because, you know, the new characters, we want them to be able to bring something new to the table. And Warlord is just a character that will probably right now be kind of hard to balance. Because let's say if Warlord was back to where he used to be, and he did everything that he could do Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, stuff like that, where would Warlord really, you know, where would he be? Would he be still a top tier character? Would he be the best character? You know, how would he actually progress within this game? You know, I find that to be one of the better and actually, you know, crazier questions, is because he's just always been good despite what, you know, Ubisoft's tried doing to him. And I more or less just don't understand exactly why it's like that with this class in particular. Like, maybe he was just always made to be the best class, or be just a character that would be very hard to nerf. The headbutt by itself is a very strong tool for neutral. Granted, they made it more punishable now than what it was before, and which is a good thing. And honest to God, I think that if they do more stuff like that with the other characters, the game would be in a more better shape. And I think personally, when characters like this have these kind of things that, you know, more or less make them, I guess, better than a lot of the other classes, then you kind of get to a point to where it's like, okay, we're in a very, very good place right now. We're gonna be in a very, very good place. And I think with like, let's say a character like Kensei particularly, if we have more reworks like Kensei, then I feel like the game will be more or less of it'd be more variety, and it'd be more of a, I guess, quote unquote, it'd be more of a skillless, or skillful, not skillless, a skillful way to be able to deal with things. I've come to realize since playing this game back in its early stages of development, you know, it has advanced a lot, and Warlord in particular has really just gone with the times. Whether it's been, you know, big nerfs to little nerfs, you know, he's always just stood the test of time. And we have characters who, let's say Centurion. Centurion is probably one of those characters who probably would have been, I'd say, a better Warlord, if not a more light-hearted version of him, if they never nerfed him. And I say that to say, I don't think a lot of things that Centurion did before were really broken. Maybe that 65 pin pair punish is a little outrageous. You know, that is pretty crazy, especially from neutral, because it's such a misleading attack. Granted, it is reactable, nonetheless. And we need to realize that Centurion got really the bad end of a stick, and I think it was because so many people were playing Centurion, just flooding the game, you know, with his I guess incredibilis, or however the hell you say it. But they were just flooding the streets with, you know, all those punny parishes and stuff, and people kind of just forgot about Warlord. But granted, Warlord still handled him when he first came out, you know. But I just say that to say, if Centurion caught the bad end of a stick, then why didn't Warlord really do it? Why is Warlord still in a good place? But I think that they had to, because there was really nothing else to judge what a really, really magnificent character was back then. Because Shinobi was bad, you know. After Shinobi was bad, Gladiator couldn't be Gladiator could be Warlord, but I think that was before his like actual nerf. Highlander could be Warlord. You know, Shinobi couldn't beat Warlord. Centurion couldn't beat Warlord. The only character besides another Warlord that could beat a Warlord would probably have been a Warden or a really good Nobushi. I would know, because there was a guy named Ravelord Servant who swore up and down that I could never ever be his Warlord with my Nobushi. Never, in his wildest dreams. And I told him the only reason you got to top on Hero Series tournament was because you never met me during qualifiers. And I always would have to go up against Orochis and other characters that were just really outrageous, because of the simple fact is that Warlord can't beat a Nobushi who knows how to use hidden stance well, and also knows that the parry timing and the cooldown recovery for a lot of Warlord's attacks. And so that's what made me be able to actually beat him. But no one ever thought a Nobushi could until I did it. And it was more or less just it was a way to show people that just because this character is overpowered and all this stuff like that, that you could actually beat somebody who's using an overpowered character with a quote-unquote underpowered character. But a lot of people would tell you that Nobushi back then wasn't underpowered, but you wouldn't see a lot of them out there actually fighting people, and you definitely wouldn't see people actually, you know, do what it takes to actually make the character viable in 1v1s anyway. Nobushi was always 4v4 queen. And now we got to a point now where since Warlord has been so nerfed, you know, he's not even a threat anymore. Could we bring him possibly back? And what would it do to the meta? I think there should be more strong characters to change the meta up a bit, you know, because I'm trying to learn 4v4s. I'm trying to stay away from the 1v1 game, because, you know, a lot of my friends tell me that it should be something I should try to strive for, which is what I'm taking their advice on doing. And I've come down to realize, you know, in 4v4s, Warlord, he has his purposes, but he's not like how he used to be, you know, and that's kind of weird considering how good of a character that he would have been when he initially came out, you know, because I've come to realize that in the upcoming stages of For Honor and how they're going to end up making this game, you know, we need more characters that are more or less better than the cast that we already have, but they still need to be balanced, of course. We definitely need some type of balancing. And could Warlord handle the day-to-day assassins now? Could Warlord handle the 500 millisecond lights, the 500 millisecond zones, the 400 millisecond PK attack? You know, we need these questions answered, because as a map to know what a broken character was and what a broken character is now, Warlord has always been that guy, so where it can kind of let people know, you know, this is it. Like, this is what a truly juggernaut of a character should be. And now I just ask, let's say, like, I think a lot of Warlord's bad matchups right now, and probably always have been, are Warden, let's see, Nobushi, Highlander, and who else is a bad matchup for Warlord? Y'all drop that in the comments and y'all let me know. But outside of that, I was trying to see, like, is he still viable? I honest to God think that we should, you know, we should kind of figure it out, because that way, I know there are a lot of people out there that still play Warlord. Like Kenzo still plays Warlord on a competitive level. You still have your, you know, your day-to-day people that you might see a Warlord every now and again. But I more or less think that I don't think he matches up that well now. But he still has a place. And, you know, was it fair to nerf Warlord when there's so many other characters that have been god-awful strong? You know, like Shaman's still strong, and, you know, people will tell you, swear up and down, like, you know, Shaman's not broken, man. There's nothing wrong with Shaman, man. There's absolutely nothing wrong with her. And I don't think that's true. I personally think that the way that, you know, he is at this point in time, or critical juncture, that, you know, he can beat a Shaman if you really, you know, sit down and do what you got to do. You just can't be predictable with your attacks. I think a lot of the times that, you know, where Ubisoft gets some of their misinformation from is that they get it from the people who are more or less not competitive players. And even if they are competitive players, they aren't good competitive players. I tell this all the time to all my people that, you know, PC has made the game what it is. And with their PC updates, or even half of them even still playing the game, or majority of them even still playing it consistently, are they up, you know, putting the game on a big pedestal, or they talking shit about the game? How do they really feel about the game? And it's supposed to be the, you know, where they actually decided to take the game to. You know, I could never really say that, you know, Warlord was god awful OP. I always just thought that he was amazingly strong, but just like every character in any fighting game, there's always a weakness. You just gotta find the character to exploit it, and it's most of the time gonna be a low tier character that nobody really plays with. You know, a lot of people play with Nobushi, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't on a good level. You weren't seeing it. I even had people who I respect as Nobushi mains tell me that Nobushi would always lose to Warlord. Even now, it's still a hard matchup because of the nerfs on both sides. But yeah, y'all, that's pretty much as far as how I wanted to go about this video, just to see if, like, do you guys consider Warlord low tier? Do you guys don't consider him low tier? How do you guys feel about him right now in the current meta? Maybe 1v1s, 4v4s, 2v2s. I mean, does he not do enough damage like how a lot of these other characters do? You know, what could make Warlord better now that it wouldn't break him? Should he go back to how he used to be? You know, is that a viable way to increase, you know, the Warlord usage? Because I think a lot of times, man, we just need more characters to be played with in a better and broader mindset. I think we need to be able to take it there in that kind of aspect with people. And if we find that balance of balance, that's really weird of me to say, but we find that and we get that going, then we can kind of map out how other characters should be. You know, one of my friends said to me, you know, man, when I do a lot of the slower classes suffer, and the faster classes always don't. And I say it's honest to God because of the fact that they made the game to a point to where fast attacks will always win. It's just how it's going to be. Slow people don't really get anything off of it because they didn't make the game to be, you know, basically be used or be won by being a slow turtly person. You know, I know they want to get out of the turtle meta, but they're only doing it for PC. That's my big thing, is that we always come to this critical juncture of these updates, and these updates that have legitimately changed out a lot of our viability with a lot of these characters and made some characters just crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Orochi right now, crazy. Like, he's a character of undoubtedly just pure light spam, you know. And the only other character that we know that did that was definitely a PK. But it's like, does it always is a rework considered just changing up somebody's light chain and making them faster? Like, how's that a thing? You know, how is that a thing? I can't stress that enough with a lot of people who actually, you know, do these things. Like reworks are supposed to be something where a character is undoubtedly changed from the core, you know, into what they are now. Kensei's rework best, you know what I'm saying. Highlander's rework, it was more of a tweak than a rework, if we want to be honest to God. Conqueror rework, you know, he's a lot better now. Who else got that rework during all that time? Conqueror, Kensei, Highlander, and Berserker. Berserker wasn't a rework. That was, I don't know what that was. That was just some crazy. That was just some lazy stuff. That was so lazy. But yeah, y'all. I think, you know, I want to go ahead and call the video, cause more or less, I don't know. I think I've hit every point that I wanted to hit, honestly. So now I just want to ask y'all, you know, if y'all are new here, or if y'all are, you know, y'all have a lot of people who want to, you know, have some more daily For Honor content, man. Just like and subscribe, man. Like I said, I'm a very friendly dude, and like I said, I answer a lot of comments. Sometimes, like I said, I'm always reading comments, and I always want to spark up interest within the community. So y'all just, you know, drop your likes, and, you know, if you have any gripes or anything like that, you know, keep them to a minimum. Like I'm gonna make a follow-up video for the Orochi and stuff like that, like, cause a lot of people were really on me about that Orochi video, etc., etc. And so a lot of the comments that were said were from basically assassin mains, the bad ones anyway, and they felt like, you know, I just should get good, but there's more to it than that. But I digress, everybody. I love y'all, man. Peace out, and this has been Freaks and Geeks, and I'm signing out. Deuces.